In the early days before mortal kingdoms rose, the gods ruled over all, and the echoes of their power shaped the world. Zeus, the king of the gods, had grown proud and wary of those who might challenge Olympus. Despite his mighty thunderbolt and the loyalty of his siblings, there were whispers of rebellion. Some claimed the Titans, ancient beings imprisoned in the depths of Tartarus, were stirring, and a shadow of vengeance loomed. To prevent chaos, Zeus commanded an oracle to seek out a mortal hero whose courage and loyalty could serve as a bulwark against threats to the gods. The oracle revealed that Perseus, son of Zeus and the mortal Danae, was destined to be a hero of Olympus. Aware of his half-mortal nature but untested in the eyes of the gods, Perseus was summoned to the peak of Mount Olympus. There, surrounded by gods with eyes of thunder, storm, and flame, Perseus was presented with an impossible task. He was to retrieve 3 objects, each powerful enough to sway the fate of gods and men alike: the Helm of Darkness from Hades, the Winged Sandals of Hermes, and the head of Medusa, the Gorgon whose gaze turned all who looked upon her to stone. "Prove yourself, Perseus," Zeus proclaimed, his voice echoing like thunder, "and your deeds shall be written in the stars." Perseus first descended to the underworld, a place of shadow and unyielding silence. Guided by the ferryman Charon across the river Styx, Perseus approached the domain of Hades, the god of the dead. To acquire the Helm of Darkness, Perseus knew he must tread carefully. The helm, capable of making its wearer invisible, was guarded jealously by Hades himself. Hades greeted Perseus with suspicion, but allowed him to prove his worth by enduring a trial. In a cavernous pit, shadows twisted and morphed into nightmares, testing Perseus's courage. But with each step, Perseus pressed forward, unyielding, his heart steeled by the memory of his mother Danae and her struggles. At last, he confronted his own deepest fear, a vision of his mother in chains cast into a sea of despair. Realizing it was an illusion, Perseus raised his sword and struck down the vision, dispelling the shadows. Impressed, Hades granted Perseus the Helm of Darkness, warning, "The shadows know no master. Wield it only when fate demands it." With the Helm of Darkness secured, Perseus ascended from the underworld and traveled to the realm of Hermes, the swift-footed messenger of the gods. Hermes watched from above, intrigued by the mortal who dared to complete the trials of the gods. Unlike Hades, Hermes was light-hearted but no less demanding. He set Perseus a task: to catch and bring back a golden hawk, one of the swiftest creatures in the sky. Perseus donned the Helm of Darkness, making himself invisible, but the hawk's sharp eyes pierced the shroud and it soared higher, almost taunting him. Perseus, determined to succeed, chased the bird across skies and over oceans, his endurance tested with each wing beat. Summoning his wits, he remembered a tactic from the stories of hunters in his homeland: patience. He hid in the branches of a sacred oak, cloaked in the shadows of the helm, and waited. Finally, the golden hawk landed, weary from the chase, and Perseus leaped forward, capturing it in his hands. Hermes appeared, his laughter echoing. "You're as clever as you are swift, Perseus. The gods favor your determination." He handed Perseus the Winged Sandals, telling him, "May these bear you where only the gods may tread." With the Winged Sandals, Perseus's final trial took him to the edge of the world, where the Gorgon sisters dwelled. Medusa, once beautiful but cursed by Athena, was a fearsome being whose gaze turned any who looked upon her to stone. Knowing he could not face her directly, Perseus consulted Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who offered him a polished bronze shield. "Use this as a mirror," she instructed, "and you may see her without succumbing to her gaze." Perseus flew to the hidden temple of the Gorgons, his heart pounding as he entered the dim stone chamber. The air was thick with silence, broken only by the hiss of serpentine hair. He inched forward, using the shield's reflection to guide him, until Medusa's reflection appeared, a twisted visage of anger and pain. With a swift, precise motion, he struck, severing her head and placing it within a leather pouch, careful not to look upon it directly. But as he turned to leave, the other Gorgons awoke, their anguished cries shaking the temple walls. He donned the Winged Sandals and flew, escaping their wrath as they clawed at the air in pursuit. On his return to Olympus, Perseus found the gods in turmoil. The Titans, long imprisoned, had sensed the Gorgons' anger and began stirring from their ancient chains, their presence shaking the earth. Zeus, recognizing the danger, called upon Perseus, trusting in the mortal's strength and the divine gifts he had earned. At the edge of Olympus, where the world met the heavens, Perseus faced the Titans. Drawing the Helm of Darkness, he moved unseen, striking swiftly, confusing the Titans with his blinding speed. Yet they were mighty and even invisible. Perseus was nearly overwhelmed. In a final act of defiance, Perseus revealed the head of Medusa. Her gaze turned upon the Titans. Even they could not withstand its petrifying power, and they were turned to stone, their colossal forms frozen in eternal defiance against Olympus. Perseus returned to Olympus, bearing the artifacts he had won and securing peace once more. Zeus himself was moved, placing Perseus's likeness among the stars as a constellation, so that his courage might inspire future generations. The gods returned to their celestial thrones, knowing that through one mortal's trials, the balance between gods and men had been restored. And thus, Perseus's tale was etched into legend, a reminder that even in a world of gods and monsters, a mortal heart, true and brave, could shape the fate of all.